A California bill would end faithless electors in the state's presidential voting. But two experts said that the current influence of political parties on electors was not what the Founding Fathers intended.
A faithless elector is somebody who is pledged to vote for a certain candidate for president and then gets to the place to vote and decides not to.
Along with ending faithless electors, the bill would remove fines and punishments currently outlined in state law. While California has never reported any cases of faithless electors in its history, the issue has become more prominent since the 2016 presidential election.
We vote for a slate of electors, and the party whose slate wins, those people are the electors who make up the Electoral College, and they're the ones who vote expressing the will of the voter. A faithless elector will go off and say, no, I can't do it. And they will, in very rare circumstances, not vote for the person that they are pledged to vote for.
Robert McWhirter, a criminal attorney and constitutional historian, told NTD News that since California is a Democratic stronghold, the bill might not do much for the state. That's because, he says, political parties now have much more influence over electors.
Over time, the political parties got a hold of it, and they passed statutes in states, like what California is proposing, that requires electors to follow the will of the party, and the party controls the electors, and they're not independent.
The proposed law would require that electors pledge their votes to the winning presidential and vice presidential candidates. Electors who fail to do so will have their vote vetoed, be removed from their position, and replaced. But according to McWhirter, the current way the country votes for the president is not what the Founding Fathers intended.
That the framers of the Constitution actually intended the electors to have more independence. But the framers of the Constitution never intended there to be political parties, at least when they wrote the Constitution. The idea was you vote for people who then would make the decision to be presidents.
The Founding Fathers established the idea of electors as a compromise between electing the president through Congress versus a popular vote. This was intended to keep dishonest people from becoming president. Paul Engel, author and founder of the Constitution Study, told NTD News that the electors today are chosen based on a, quote, political slate. He added that most state electors will vote for the party that wins in the statewide election.
In the past, when electors were truly free to vote their conscience, back before political parties took over the process, it was more of an issue from the standpoint of it happened more. But it was less of an issue because there wasn't the expectation that if I choose you to be my elector, I'm assuming you have enough information and integrity to vote for the best candidate, kind of like I'm electing a representative for Congress. Only today, as we have this politicized partisan process, does the idea of faithless elector really mean anything.
Engel added that individual states are responsible for managing domestic affairs and the interests of their own people. He says the proposed law does not violate the Constitution.
California is perfectly within its rights, its powers to say, this is how we're going to appoint electors. It doesn't so much prevent faithless electors as require two things. It requires electors, proposed electors, to promise that they will vote for the party that nominated them. And it basically says if you fail to do so, or if you fail to vote, then you're basically kicked out as an elector, and that's now a vacant seat.
In 2021, Democratic Senator Bill Dodd introduced the proposed law, Senate Bill 103. It has received unanimous bipartisan support by both the state assembly and the Senate. It is now awaiting Governor Gavin Newsom's signature or veto. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.